Hallo Freunde und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Larabout 2 und der Dolch von Amon. Ich freue mich, dass ihr wieder mit dabei seid. Wir sind im Museum in Akt 2 und da reden wir jetzt mal mit den ganzen Leuten mit, wie heißt sie, die Yvette Delacroix, haben wir schon mit ihr geredet. Ich muss mir auch wieder die Namen aufschreiben. Und im Moment sind wir am Reden mit den, Dr. Pippin Carter. Was hier interessant war, ist, dass er Carrington anscheinend gar nicht gekannt hat. Oder besser gesagt, dass Carrington ihn nicht mehr erkannt hat und er selbst Carrington auch nicht mehr so richtig und meint, er wäre alt geworden. Also, das könnte wichtig sein. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, aber das könnte wichtig sein. Vielleicht ist Carrington nicht Carrington. Wer weiß das schon so genau?
A crodfoller is some sort of miniature vegetable, isn't it? A potato, perhaps?
Nicht ganz.
He runs one of the local Chinese laundries. Pretends to be Chinese so he can get more business, but he has a terrible accent.
Carter, den mag ich irgendwie überhaupt nicht. Er ist sehr, sehr arrogant.
A relative of yours, perhaps?
Ist aber wahrscheinlich mit Absicht so gemacht.
Rather an unfortunate name, I think.
Name oder Geselle? Naja, egal.
Dr. Miklos is rather eccentric, but she is well educated. Received her training at one of the better universities in Athens, Greece. She's considered quite knowledgeable in the area of hieroglyphics, but her speciality is paleontology. She's fond of old bones.
Okay. Was kannst du jetzt über Yvette sagen?
That trollop sleeps with everything that moves, and some things that don't. It's only by sheer strength of will that I've resisted her advances so far.
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, es könnte eher daran liegen, dass sie kein Interesse an dir hat.
Ah, yes. Heimlich's the security chief here. Not a particularly good one, obviously, since the dagger was stolen right from under his nose. And he's rather too intense for my tastes.
Okay. Oh, den hier?
Of course I know Ramses. There were several of them, actually. Ramses I was pharaoh during the 19th dynasty from 1307 to 1306 BC, but Ramses II made more of an impact on ancient Egypt. From 1290 to 1224 BC, Ramses II undertook a succession of gargantuan construction projects which left his mark in the face of Egypt for thousands of years. His mortuary site at Thebes, the Ramesseum, contains a temple to Amon-Ra, a royal palace, a mortuary temple, and several storerooms.
Actually, I was referring to Ramses Niger.
Never heard of him.
Irgendwie war das klar. Na gut, was ist mit Steve?
Steve Dorian. The stevedore with a ridiculous name. He's the fellow who helped unload my artifacts from the steamship. If it weren't for his odd name, I would have forgotten him entirely.
Ja, das glaube ich. Okay, was ist mit der Gräfin?
The Countess was married to the former president of the Leyendecker Museum, Sterling Waldorf Carlton. A good chap, but uninspired. Now she has her sights set on Dr. Carrington.
Okay. So viel dazu. Erzähl was über dieses Tribune.
It's one of those local scandal periodicals. The term yellow journalism comes to mind when I think of it, which means it's not much of a newspaper at all, really. It's more like printed chewing gum for the uneducated masses.
Now, wait a minute. The Tribune is a fine newspaper of the highest quality. I know because I happen to work there.
You've just proven my point.
Well, I never.
Maybe that's your problem.
Sehr unangenehm, der
I
Porsche.
don't have to stand here and take this abuse.
You're right, you don't. You could just go away and make us both happy.
Nee, so nicht, mein Lieber. So nicht.
The police station is the last refuge for the incompetents in this city. However, if you're looking for a constable, I'd suggest one of the donut shops. People tell me Low Fats is a good place to have laundry done, but he always puts too much starch in my shirts.
Na dann.
That's why I arrived on the steamship Andrea Doria. I came over with the artifacts for the Egyptian exhibit. Apparently Dr. Carrington was also on that voyage from England, but I never ran into him aboard ship. Keeps to himself a lot, you know.
Was auch wieder darauf hinweisen könnte, dass er sich nicht mit Leuten, die ihn vielleicht kennen, sehen lassen will, damit es nicht rauskommt. Falls es überhaupt so ist, ich weiß es nicht. Das ist ja nur eine Vermutung gerade. Und zwar eine Theorie, die weder bestätigt noch, ja, vielleicht ein bisschen weit hergeholt, aber man weiß es nicht.
With a little work, I can turn the Lion Decker into a world-class museum. But that can wait a few months until they decide to make me the president. Dr. Carrington will have to find other employment, of course, but I'm sure some lesser museum would be happy to have him on their staff.
Wie war das jetzt? Carrington ist der Präsident des Museums und er ist der Direktor oder so irgendwie war das? Und er ist auf jeden Fall wild drauf, Präsident zu werden, genau wie sie. Das ist auch, glaube ich, wichtig.
Since you're new here, what do you think of New York? Isn't it exciting?
I hate it. It's crowded, it's noisy, and you Americans have no concept of how the class system is supposed to work. You go around treating each other like equals, which I find very distasteful.
Sehr unangenehmer Bursche, aber gut. Halt. Ja, da kann er bestimmt nichts drüber sagen.
If you're referring to the local drinking establishments, they are quite illegal, and I don't condone their existence. I do drink on occasion, but only when the finest wines are available. No thanks, I already have a notepad.
Ja, schauen wir mal, was er über die Lupe
Don't
sagt.
bother me with such silly questions.
Dachte ich mir. Wasserglas.
It's a water glass, just the thing if you require a drinking receptacle that holds liquids.
Na gut. Dann kommen wir zu den eher interessanten Sachen, vor allem den Einbruch, denke ich.
Would you say this has been a good year for you, sir?
Well, let's see. I made the most important archaeological discovery of all time. Almost everyone on the planet knows my name, and I've clinched a curatorial job I've been after for years. Yes, I'd say it has been a rather good year.
Seems to me you might have a problem.
A problem? Such as?
Well, you've accomplished so much this year. What are you gonna do next?
Next? What next? Don't bother me with such ludicrous questions, you silly female.
Absolut unmöglich, der Typ. Erzähl was über den Einbruch.
You must be very upset about the burglary.
Quite so. If I ever find out who stole my dagger of Amon-Ra, they won't live to regret it, I can assure you.
Oh my! Do you have any idea who would do such a thing?
I have my suspicions, but I need more proof before I subject him to the full force of my wrath.
Have the police learned anything?
Those incompetents? Hardly. They couldn't even find any clues around the dagger display.
Sounds sounds like the burglar might have been a professional.
Perhaps. It's more likely the local constable couldn't find a clue if it jumped up and bit him on the bum.
Ja, der hat keine gute Meinung über die. Okay, was haben wir sonst noch? Ägyptologie haben wir noch.
Since you're an expert on the subject, what can you tell me about Egyptology?
I don't have time to explain the intricacies of my profession to a neophyte. If you're truly interested, I'd suggest several years of difficult study on the subject at one of your better universities. Once you've finished that, you can talk to me again.
Na gut. So, dann reden wir mal mit dem hier. Wer bist du?
Good evening, sir. My name is Laura Bow.
I am Ramses Najir, Miss Bow. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Ah, das ist der Ramses. Okay. Die stehen sich gerade gegenüber und kennen sich nicht. Ja.
Good evening, sir.
Das ist dasselbe, oder?
Good evening, Miss.
So. Dann, ja, das dauert halt erst eine ganze Meile, bis wir die ganzen Leute interviewt haben. Ah, so. Jetzt sitze ich besser. Aber das ist bei so einem Spiel klar.
I'm afraid I do not know Mr. Agostini. I live a very quiet life, and I do not know very many famous people.
Okay.
1,000 curses on that man. He defiled the tombs of my sacred ancestors for his own personal glory. He doesn't care a fig for what's right and what's wrong. His own evil deeds will catch up with him, though. Just wait and see.
Ah, wenn der Kater stirbt, haben wir hier schon einen Verdächtigen quasi, der ein Motiv hat. Und was über Delacroix gesagt hat, da hat was nicht gestimmt gehabt. Ich habe es noch nicht nachgeschaut. Da hat ja was nicht gestimmt gehabt und der Text hat so irgendwas anderes gesagt. Aber von der Sprache her kam ein ganz anderer Satz und da hat sie bedauert, dass der Dr. Carter, Pippin Carter, gestorben wäre. Von daher könnte ich mir vorstellen, dass der noch irgendwann stirbt, dass da ein kleiner Bug im Spiel war, der uns jetzt ein bisschen zu viel verraten hat. Aber gut.
I have heard a great deal about Mr. Carrington, but I do not know him very well. We have only spoken once or twice, but he seems like a cultured, charming fellow.
Wisst ihr, wie das auch aussieht? Mit der Brille und dieser Schmalzlocke, was darunter hängt? Das erinnert mich an Clark Kent. Anschließend ist das vielleicht noch Superman.
To be perfectly honest, I do not care for Mr. O'Reilly. I do not think he sees the beauty in ancient Egypt. He is somewhat blunt in his approach to others as well. I suppose that is just part of his job, however.
Okay.
Crodfollers? No, thank you. I try to restrict my intake of sugar. It has a bad effect on me.
Ja, der arme Kerl, der ist wirklich geschlagen mit den Namen.
I'm afraid I do not know the gentleman.
Ja, okay. Badabadam.
John Bow is your father? I have never had the pleasure of meeting him. I have never been to New Orleans, you see. That much humidity does not agree with me. I do not know Ziggy very well, but he makes me uneasy. His eyes remind me of a jackal's. I met him briefly at the party, then avoided him the rest of the time.
Ja, das kann ich verstehen. Das kann ich sehr gut verstehen.
Dr. Miklos is a brilliant individual, but she is certainly a little strange. Ah well, we all have our foibles, don't we, Miss Bow?
Ja, natürlich. Das haben wir alle. So, Yvette?
Miss Yvette is a charming young lady, and so friendly. She seems genuinely interested in Egyptology. We had a long discussion about tombs one time.
Okay.
I find Mr. Heimlich to be most intimidating. He seems to enjoy looming over people.
Naja, als Sicherheitsbeamter könnte ich das verstehen. Also, weil er ja Dings ist hier. Dass er da die Leute mehr einschüchtern will.
Why, I am Ramses Najir, Miss Bow. I am an accountant and a proud father of 2.5.
Okay.
Mr. Dorian is a very healthy-looking young man. His mother must have eaten well.
Und noch die Gräfin.
The Countess is quite a colorful lady. She seems to enjoy life to the fullest, does she not? Just between you and me, she scares me a little.
Huh.
Why is that, Mr. Najia?
Well, she's just too enthusiastic for me, I suppose.
Da haben wir jetzt schon genau das, was auch Yvette gesagt hat, dass die Gräfin ihr Angst macht. 2 Aussagen, die auch relativ gleich sind. Na, das haben wir schon alles. Dann kommen die Orte dran.
I enjoy the Tribune very much, Miss Bow. I read the financial page every morning of my life. The police are useless. It is not the police who will uncover the thief of the dagger. It will be his own evil deeds turned back on him like an angry cobra. I personally do not use that laundry, Miss Bow. I go to an Egyptian laundry on 44th Street. They are wonderful with linens.
Ja, okay, also bisher haben wir noch nicht wirklich Wichtiges von dem gehört.
Oh dear, the docks are very rough places, Miss Bow. I stay away from them. I would suggest that you do the same. Attractive young ladies like yourself are the favorite prey of the jackals who prowl there at night. The Leyendecker is a beautiful museum, Miss Bow, but I do not approve of the despoiling of my ancestors' tombs, much less the wanton display of their bodies and their personal effects.
Ja, das kann ich schon verstehen, dass der da ein bisschen sauer ist.
Do you like the city of New York, Mr. Najia?
Well, it is a very lucrative place for an accountant to set up shop, but the city itself is rather large and frightening.
Dann soll das ja erstmal heute sehen, wie sie da aussieht. Ah, hoppala. Ich sollte es vielleicht auch noch anknicken, bevor ich was mache.
I wouldn't know, Miss Bow. I am a family man, and I do not frequent such scandalous places.
Okay, jetzt haben wir die Dinge. Das wird wahrscheinlich wieder unnütz sein, aber wir probieren es mal.
I see you carry a notebook. I carry one too, in case I should think of some particularly exciting mathematical formula at an inconvenient time. How interesting. You carry a magnifier. Are your eyes poor? I am very nearsighted myself. It came from years of looking at tiny little numbers.
Ja, okay. Und das Wasserglas?
Sometimes I carry a water glass with me as well, Miss Bow. One had to be sure to drink enough water in the wilds of Egypt, and I never quite got out of the habit.
Okay, aber deswegen haben wir es wahrscheinlich nicht dabei. Okay, jetzt noch die 3 letzten Sachen. Ah, die machen wir jetzt noch in der Folge.
Mr. Najia, would you say that 1926 has been a good year for you?
Well, yes, I would have to say so. Business in America is booming, and many people need an accountant. I have not wanted for work, and my beloved wife Isis is soon to deliver our 3rd child. I suppose I am as happy as a man should be.
Congratulations on the upcoming blessed event, Mr. Najia. What are your other children's names?
Well, there's Horus and Amon, and the new baby shall be named Anubis, after the wise and just Lord of the Dead.
Oh, how lovely. But what if the child is a girl?
The name shall be Anubis either way. It is a wonderful name for either a boy or a girl.
Okay, ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob ich so benannt werden will nach dem Lord des Todes. Naja.
Mr. Najee, would you have any idea who might have stolen the dagger of Amon Ra?
No, but whoever did should be boiled alive. He should be fed to hungry crocodiles. His guts should be strung from the pyramids. He should... Oh, excuse me. I get a little passionate on the subject.
Ja, hat man
Quite all
gemerkt.
right, Mr. Najee. I understand.
Hat man gemerkt.
Are you an Egyptologist, Mr. Najee?
No, not professionally. I have always been interested in the history of my country and made a point of studying it. I am particularly interested in ancient Egyptian religions.
So, dann sind wir jetzt auch mit dem Gespräch mit Mr. Najee fertig. Und ich würde sagen, dann beenden wir auch die Folge mal. Und dann kommt der andere noch dran, der hier rumsteht. Und danach schauen wir uns mal weiter hier im Museum um. Da hinten ist noch eine Tür. Und wahrscheinlich können wir nach rechts oder nach links gehen. Schauen wir einfach mal, was hier passiert, so alles. Vielleicht kann man auch noch mit den anderen Gästen hier reden. Wir werden es sehen in der nächsten Folge. Dann sage ich mal vielen Dank fürs Anschauen. Macht's gut. Bis zur nächsten Folge dann. Tschüss.